Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news. Health policies are very much secondary to economic policies these days. Around the world, governments are starting to plan reopenings of their economies, and this is despite a clear lack of control of the pandemic. Many countries are at vastly different stages in their fight for control, but the drive to restart business is growing everywhere. In the US, the pressure is enormous. More than 20 million people lost their jobs there in April, according to their official data. At the same time, another 2 million people lost their jobs in April in Canada. Between the two, that is 22.5 million extra people jobless in just 1 month. But it's worse than that, much worse. Even the White House says things will get worse. Their participation rate fell to almost 60%, the lowest since 1969, more than 50 years ago. You just cannot take the purchasing power of that many people out of the giant American economy and not have long-term global economic implications. The hurt will spread to New Zealand and our export markets. And the impact is playing havoc with the US federal government finances. The federal budget typically records a surplus in April because of the timing of tax payments, but this year they incurred a deficit of $737 billion in April compared with a surplus of $160 billion last year. That's almost $1 trillion turnaround. There is also a heap of hurt being reported elsewhere around the world for April. For example, the Brazilian car production fell 99%. Mexico's car production fell by almost the same amount. Israel's factory sector dived. Industrial production in Spain, Germany and Norway all fell very sharply. The global economic carnage is widespread. In Europe over the weekend, finance ministers accepted a plan for a €240 billion credit extension on very cheap terms, allowing under-pressure governments to access a huge amount of new borrowed money. And in China, there's more evidence that a return to normal life is bringing an economic upswing. But being the only game in town means that China is pressing its advantages for access to that rebound. And deteriorating relations have resulted in China giving Australia 10 days to explain why Beijing should not impose tariffs of 80% on Australian barley, a $600 million trade. Canberra is not impressed. Meanwhile, even though iron ore prices keep on rising, the price of both thermal and coking coal continues its downward direction, down by more than 10% over the past few weeks and threatening to shut mines in the same way oil rigs are shutting. US Treasury 10-year yield will open the week at just under 0.69% and a little change from Friday. Gold was lower today, down $3 to $1,703 an ounce. And oil prices are marginally higher today. In the US, they're currently at just under $25 a barrel. International oil prices are just under $31 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is firmish and now at 61.4 US cents. On the cross rates, we'll open at 93.9 Australian cents today, and against the euro, we'll open at 56 euro cents. These rises mean the trade-weighted index is now at 67.1. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.